Welcome. Bienvenidos. My name is Sarita Brown, and I have the honor of serving as President of Excelencia in Education. We are gathered here today to look at the conditions of education for all students with an eye towards Latino student success. The means to do that is the Seal of Excelencia. Excelencia in Education is an organization of 18 years dedicated to accelerating Latino student success. What we will do over the next hour or so is hear from leaders in this country that have taken responsibility for ensuring that the students that enroll at their institutions cross the finish line. It is most fitting, then, that I share with all of you that this backdrop, for those who can look carefully, you will see images of Latino student success. What you see are graduations, commencements, not from photo stock, but from real campuses, the campuses that have made common cause with Excelencia in Education to ensure that this generation of students crosses the finish line and that by so doing, our country is richer in talent and energy. That was the introduction for anyone who didn't know Excelencia in Education before this moment. Now we begin this announcement of the institutions in higher education that have earned the Seal of Excelencia. To give you the full sense of what the seal is, what it does, how it is mobilizing institutions, and how together it is propelling us into a strong and bright future, it is my honor to introduce our co-founder, the CEO of Excelencia, my friend y colega, Deborah Santiago.
This is a high podium. Thank you all for being with us, and those who are live streaming as well. Appreciate your coming to recognize, celebrate, honor institutions that are becoming places where our Latino students thrive, and therefore that we hope all students can thrive. So I have the great task of giving you a little bit of context of how the Seal of Excelencia was created, so that it informs a little bit of your knowledge about these institutions that we're going to be talking about in this conversation today with each of you. So I've had the good fortune of looking at this political construct of Hispanic serving institutions for the last 27 years. I know that's how old I look, but that's how long I've been looking at it. This idea of what is a Hispanic serving institution. How do we go beyond just looking at a critical mass of students enrolled to really deconstruct that S and say, what does it mean to intentionally serve students that goes beyond enrollment? That's a journey for institutions. It's a journey for students. It's a journey for us as a community in thinking about how do we bring meaning with something that might have been created politically and at the national level to make sure it resonates and has value for us and the work that we do. That's the journey that I've been on in trying to understand what are the mechanisms, tools that can help students, because fundamentally the reason that Excelencia is even engaged in this is about students and their success. And the institutions are that intermediary. How do we work with institutions that are committed to being places where Latino students thrive? How do we learn? How do we bring attention to? How do we advance and promulgate those efforts and strategies in a way that makes a positive difference for our students? How do we articulate in such a way that shows the asset and the opportunity of our community, rather than this perception that is always so deficit and crisis-oriented, that doesn't reflect the hope and opportunity and the vision and the goals students have for themselves? How do you bring attention to the institutions that are making sure, sometimes to the detriment of their own tracking and measures, that the students that they are committed to reach their goals and fulfill that social contract that they have with students, because if a student chooses to enroll there, their aspiration is to get some kind of an education that allows them to meet their own goals, professionally, personally, in leadership. Well, that was a long-winded way of saying those are the elements that went into the thinking here. And then listening and learning institutions, some of their HSIs hit that 25% undergraduate FTE, full-time equivalent, and some that weren't. And what we knew was that critical mass, having 25% didn't automatically mean that an institution was going to transition and change and be the model, the exemplar of what was possible. That it was just a tag. For some, a great opportunity to get some federal resources. Much needed, so not criticizing that. But we knew it had to be more than that. We had to see the kind of intentionality that students were the focus of this effort and strategy overall. So again, working with institutions over the last around the 18 years, as Sarita mentioned, plus, trying to listen and learn, we kept hearing institutions tell their own individual story. And powerful as that is, and important, each institution has its own history, context, service area. There were common threads. There were things that, whether it's in public policy or structure for funding, intent and purpose and pathways, conventional wisdom. We kept hearing different flavors, but we found there were some common threads of how institutions needed to talk to and did talk about themselves and what they were doing. Not often enough including their Hispanic students, so they talk in the aggregate. And that's value, certainly, but what we know is that, if you have a mission to serve all students, and if you're meeting that mission, then you don't see gaps in persistence and retention success. You see your students all thriving. And if you don't see that, then it's disingenuous to say that we're educating and serving all without showing a measure of intentionality and investment in the kinds of things that will make sure that truly all of your students are well served. And so in talking to institutions, we kept hearing about their practices, their strategies. Excelencia for the last 17 years has been implementing examples of Excelencia, identifying programs and practices that work with evidence of effectiveness. But we know in public policy, it's all about the data, right? Data are the language of decision makers, good, bad, and ugly. And I sometimes jokingly, but I guess maybe seriously, say I'm trilingual. I speak Spanish, English, and data. And part of telling a story of intentionality in serving students is being able to leverage what we know about data, not limiting ourselves to that, but knowing that's the language of those that are looking at scale. They don't see the face of that student, the individual transformation that a campus does, that an individual on a campus does. And while that's incredibly valuable, how do you find ways to aggregate in a way that tells a story of an institution who is also already working at scale and at the national level at scale? How do we bring meaning to serving our students? That's the impetus behind the certification and the Seal of Excelencia. We look at data, practice, and leadership. We ask institutions to give us 5 years of data in 6 categories: enrollment, retention, transfer, financial aid, faculty, staff representation, and completion. Those institutions that have earned the seal and those that have applied know it's not for the faint of heart. In addition to those 5 years of data, disaggregated so that we see how Latinos are doing amongst all, we also ask for 3 evidence-based practices in each of those 6 categories. We want to see what you're doing in enrollment to make sure that amongst all you're serving, Latinos are doing as well or better than others. You want evidence that what you're doing is working. So imagine that's up to 18 practices, 5 years of data in 6 areas, 18 practices. And then we have institutional leadership. And while it's amazing and wonderful, and you hear from some very powerful and compelling and engaging presidents, it's more than just a president, it's institutional leadership. What's in your strategic plan, your institutional culture, right? Your HR strategies. What is within an institution that centers that intentionality in serving students? How do we understand that? And then how do you communicate it to folks that are not day in and day out on your campus? That's the Seal of Excelencia. It's holding, how do we have a higher standard for ourselves and accountability for what we're doing to ensure the students that have, committed to us, we commit in return with intentionality to make sure they're served well. That's the framework, that's the approach, that's a little bit of the history. This process, again, is not for the faint of heart. We open in March with a process. This is really an institutional assessment tool. Appreciate hearing from many institutions who said this has been a helpful framework and a roadmap for the work we need to do. It allows us to convene folks from different parts of the institution to talk about what we're doing. We didn't even know all the things we were doing for our students. To be able to tell that story is powerful. So, institutions have about 3 months to complete this institutional assessment. Many of them have told us it takes about 2 to 3 years, because this is not just about filling in the blanks. This is about institutional culture and strategy and approach. So 3 months, some of them taking 2 years or so, which is not insignificant. We've been at this for 4 years. And the SEAL was created because we wanted to be able to tell that story and show that there was leadership across this country that is doing well and right by students, that is showing they are places where Latino students thrive. Doesn't mean these institutions are perfect. All of them are on their own journey. But that there's enough of a framework we can find that common cause, that connection to the work that really matters. So that's the SEAL, and that's the certification process. We go through a point, thanks to our first cohort, we learned we need to also not just have something that they fill out, we need to talk to the president and hear their vision and how they create the space and their vision for what's possible. And then at Excelencia, we have institutes. We bring cohorts of institutions together because you all are the experts in this space, to listen and learn and share what's working, what your pain points are, and how to address those things in a meaningful way. All of that is in our effort to be part of this common cause of making sure that our students are served and served well. And that's, for us, what the certification process means, and that's the rigorous work that each of these institutions that we are recognizing today has made a conscious choice to do. We don't give them money. This is not a prize, although that would be great, and we are open to that. If a funder wants to give us resources to give to these institutions, we are happy to do that. I think this is part, and we were talking earlier, this is part of the value imperative. This is the commitment of an institution to its students, and they're trying to articulate and manifest that and stand out for what they choose to believe in and choose to work in. That's a little bit of the background, that's the context. I hope that helps you all in thinking about the importance of these institutions, their leadership, and what it means for us overall as a nation as we look to making sure that all of our students are served well, with an explicit focus on our Latino students as part of all. With that, I'm going to ask Sarita to come back, and we'll get going and recognizing our institutions. Thank you.
And so we begin. The first institution that we are privileged to announce as having earned the Seal of Excelencia is Mercy College, represented by President Timothy Hall.
Thank you and good morning.
Good morning.
I can testify as a former lawyer and law professor that I've been less intimidated by talking to certain federal judges than being questioned by Deborah Santiago. I bring you greetings from Mercy College, New York's largest private Hispanic serving institution of higher learning, educating students primarily in the Bronx, Manhattan, and in Westchester County. 44% of our students are Hispanic, and that number is 10% larger than it was just 7 years or so ago. 23% of our students are Black, and the remainder white and others. And I bring you greetings from Mercy College's faculty and staff and administration and trustees, who are each committed to serving and supporting our students intentionally by creating the conditions that maximize their educational experience and their flourishing as human beings. A majority of our students are of color, the first in their families, often to attend college, and mostly families which are themselves low income. The demographics of wealth and race in America, yes, America of the 21st century, still suggest that many of them struggle to get into college, struggle to remain in college, and struggle especially to graduate from college. But I'm privileged to work with faculty and staff and administrators and trustees and students themselves who go to war every day against these pernicious demographics, to defeat low expectations not worthy of the students we serve, that are not worthy of the strengths that they bring to us from their families and communities, to reject tired and worn out pedagogies that aren't worthy of our students' abilities to learn when we create the proper conditions for their learning. Some of this work, I'll tell you, isn't always exciting. We don't spend so much time brainstorming brilliant ideas as we do painstakingly researching evidence-based practices capable of being applied at scale wherever possible that improve our students' chances to succeed. From time to time, something shatters our preconceptions. Mercy College first adopted under a previous president, President Kim Klein, who's now at the Long Island University, a form of proactive advising in 2009. This was before my time, but I managed to notice when I started learning about this college that this change reduced double-digit gaps in educational retention to single-digit gaps, and it was the formative event in Mercy's being able to more successfully serve our students. Once you see something like that just one time, I promise you, you'll go around looking at everything you see, wondering, which of these is that thing that we just keep doing because we've done it for decades, but if only we thought about doing it differently, our students would soar as they soared once we implemented proactive advising. Mercy College is proud to be recognized as the first private institution of higher learning in the U.S. to receive the Seal of Excelencia. We are proud that our students are helping to show what's possible when we re-examine our mindsets and our pedagogies and our everyday ways of doing business. Nearly 175 private institutions in the U.S. are HSIs, and together they serve nearly 135,000 Latino students. These students are an important part of our nation's hope and its future, and they deserve that we ready ourselves intentionally to support them rather than being overly concerned with whether they're ready for us. Thank you.
Thank you, President Hall. The next institution that in 2022 has earned the Seal of Excelencia is San Antonio College in Texas, represented by President Francisco Solis. President Solis.
I'm honored to accept the Seal of Excelencia on behalf of San Antonio College. First, I want to thank Sarita and Deborah and all of your associates at Excelencia for the national attention you bring to the conversation regarding Latinx student success in higher education. Second, as San Antonio College is one of 5 colleges within the Alamo College District, I want to acknowledge the leadership and vision of the Board of Trustees and Chancellor Flores provide to all of the Alamo colleges. Most of all, I want to acknowledge the work our 18,000 students, 750 faculty, 550 staff at San Antonio College have done to deserve this certification. With a moonshot to end poverty in San Antonio through education, a mission to empower our diverse communities for success by graduating, transferring, and entering the workforce, with our marketable skills, and a bold strategic plan centered on our 4 priorities: student success, principal-centered leadership, performance excellence, and equity. We set out to change the status quo for our students, 67% of whom are Latinx students. Through a number of courageous conversations college-wide, a strong commitment to our continuous improvement model, and a move to data-driven, data-informed, and data-inspired institutions, San Antonio College was recognized for our work as the #1 community college in the nation by the Aspen Institute of College Excellence in 2021. 8 years ago, we, students, faculty, and staff, began a journey to pursue college-wide excellence, excellence in teaching and learning. At SAC, we assess teaching and learning in every course, every section, every semester, because every student matters. We co-created a faculty scorecard that provides for every faculty member their own performance data disaggregated by sub-equity group. Excellence in student services. Through Alamo Advise, an average student advisor ratio of 300 to 1, we support student success through their academic experience, through connection, entry, progress, completion, and post-completion. Excellence in campus facilities. Having completed a capital improvement project at $83 million and recently brought on 5 new state-of-the-art buildings, with the $147 million in renovations approved by our Board of Trustees just last week, we begin to transform our buildings. And finally, excellence in student success. With initiatives like Alamo Promise, which provides free tuition to students graduating from our high schools with historically low college access education, and Alamo Books, which provides universal access to educational materials, minimizing the cost of education, and a number of strategies to address the digital divide, such as lunar laptops, hotspots, and park and learn access. We have committed our talent and our resources to align with our value of student success, all of which have led to the awarding of 20,000 degrees and certificates in the last 5 years, doubling the number in the previous 5 years. Your recognition today of San Antonio College recognizes the critical work we do and the value of community colleges across the country. According to National Student House Clearinghouse data, 55% of all students in higher education started at least 1 semester in the community college. 44% of all students in higher education are currently enrolled in the community college. And 55% of all Latinx students are currently enrolled in education, are enrolled in the 1,200 community colleges across the nation. At San Antonio College, we're deeply committed to the success of our Latinx students. Muchísimas gracias y adelante. Thank you very much.
The next institution that we are pleased to announce as having earned the Seal of Excelencia in 2022 is the University at Albany, State University of New York, represented by their president, Avidan Rodriguez.
Good morning, and muy buenos días to all of you. First and foremost, our hearts, our thoughts, and hopefully our money will go to the victims of Hurricane Fiona and Hurricane Ian, who had the communities that have suffered catastrophic damage as a consequence of these hurricanes. Thank you, Sarita, and thank you, Deborah, and to everyone at Excelencia in Education, muchísimas gracias. It is truly an honor to accept this prestigious recognition on behalf of the University at Albany, State University of New York. We are very proud to be the first cohort of SEAL recipients that includes the great state of New York and the first institution of the State University of New York. As you know, and Deborah has already reiterated, seeking the Seal of Excelencia is no small task. I am so very proud of the UAlbany team that came together under the dynamic leadership of 2 great colleagues, Sheila Siri, our Vice President for Government and Community Relations, and Hilbert Valverde, Dean and Vice Provost for International Education. We also put together an excellent working group under the auspices of the President's Advisory Committee on Latino and Latina Success, Student Success. Hilbert is here with us today, along with Luke Rumsey, our Director of Community Relations, who also did an amazing job in coordinating all aspects of this initiative. Also, our gratitude goes to our faculty, staff, and students at the University at Albany. At the end of the day, what brought us to this moment is the University at Albany's long-standing commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is all part of a multifaceted, holistic, and data-driven approach to student success, a dedication that is reflected in our core values, in our strategic priorities, and our institutional vision. As one of the most diverse Research One institutions in the nation, UAlbany has received significant national recognitions for our work in this space. Most recently, we were awarded the Higher Education Excellence in Diversity Award for 5 consecutive years in a row. With a National Science Foundation grant, we are leading SUNY's efforts to increase the participation of underrepresented minority students in STEM fields. We have also been held as an engine of economic opportunity in a top public institution for providing social and economic mobility to our students. You see, Latino and Latina student success is a critical part of that commitment, and our intentionality has only grown as UAlbany's student population, has become increasingly diverse over the past decade. In fact, this fall's incoming class of 2026 was the most diverse in the university's history, with nearly 45% from historically underrepresented groups. And in terms of first-year students who identify as Latino and Latina, since 2014, the percentage has increased from 16.4% to 21.4%. This intentionality has helped provide a strong framework to identify and evaluate the ways in which we are addressing the specific needs of our students, as well as setting ambitious goals about where we want to be in the future. So we are grateful, extremely grateful, to Excelencia in Education for providing this extraordinary platform for institutions of higher education to document our progress and celebrate our success. This recognition today, however, does not obviate the difficult work we must continue all to engage in to enhance and strengthen our DEI efforts and to support the success of our Latino and Latina communities, as well as other underrepresented groups. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate our fellow SEAL recipients here today. Felicidades. The Seal of Excelencia is a tremendous responsibility that we take extremely seriously, and we will be working very hard to continue living up to the designation and building on our success and our excelencia. Muchísimas gracias.
The next institution that has earned the Seal of Excelencia in 2022 is Texas State University, represented by President Kelly Damphus.
Thank you, and thank you, Deborah and Sarita, for your help getting us to this point today. It's a tremendous honor to be with you here today on behalf of Texas State University and to accept the Seal of Excelencia. Congratulations to our fellow institutions who are being recognized here today as well. This prestigious certification signals to the world Texas State's commitment to serving Latino students and all students. It places us among the nation's most distinguished institutions as well. It's a profound moment for our university. At Texas State, we look like Texas. Our student body reflects the diversity of Texas more than any other public university in the state. But Texas State is not merely an Hispanic enrolling institution. We're proud of the fact that we are designated as a Hispanic serving institution, and now the Seal of Excelencia is one of our greatest points of pride. It validates that our approach to student success makes a difference. We see our impact in the data. We see it in the enrollment, retention, and graduation rates of Hispanic students and of all students. But most importantly, we see it in the faces of our students and their loved ones beaming with pride at graduation. We also see it in the achievements of our alumni who use their degrees to serve their families and to improve their communities. Our highest calling is to transform the lives of people who come to Texas State by providing a high-quality education, equitable learning opportunities, and pathways to social mobility. What happens at Texas State University echoes across the United States. We have 2 campuses in the Innovation Corridor, which stretches across central Texas from Austin to San Antonio. It's one of the fastest-growing regions in the nation. The latest census data reveals that Hispanic Texans are now our state's largest demographic group. Those estimates support the demographic shifts that have steadily transformed our state for decades. Texas needs the brilliance, ingenuity, and solutions that young Latino students across the state are ready to contribute. Our role as an HSI is even more critical for the future of our state and our country. We need to inspire and to equip as many young Latinos as possible to pursue higher education. It's our responsibility to ensure that we're not only enrolling Latino students, but intentionally providing inclusive, wraparound support that bolsters their academic outcomes, personal growth, and a sense of belonging. We stand ready to continue to serve our state's call to educate, to inspire, and to uplift future generations of Texans. I'd like to thank Excelencia in Education for this great honor. It's creating a framework that recognizes the importance of Latino students for our nation's future. Just as I was sitting here, I received a picture of the watch party back home in San Marcos, and I was touched by the fact that we had our mariachi band playing there while they were stalling for time before the beginning of this event. And I wish that I was with you in person, for those who are watching at the watch party, but know that I'm there with you in spirit. To our faculty and staff back home, I share my heartfelt congratulations and gratitude. Your dedication makes this achievement possible. You are an unstoppable force and deeply committed to serving our students, both in Round Rock and in San Marcos. Earning this seal is a testament to your impact, and I couldn't be prouder to accept this certification on your behalf. And I especially want to acknowledge former President Denise Trouth, whose leadership brought us to this moment today. Celebrating the Seal of Excelencia inspires us to continue to do the work and to keep student success at the heart of all we do. Thank you.
The next institution that we announce as having earned the Seal of Excelencia in 2022 is the University of California, Santa Cruz, represented by Chancellor Cynthia Leray.
Thank you, Sarita and Deborah. We are striving to achieve institutional transformation and overcome long-standing inequities and structural barriers to Latinx student success. You have shown incredible leadership in this space, and we at UC Santa Cruz are deeply grateful for your guidance during the application process. With me today are Charis Herzon and Juan Poblete, HSI leaders on our campus, and I'm especially grateful to Charis and to Catherine Cooper for leading the team that prepared our application. I also offer my deep gratitude to our wider HSI team, our Center for Innovations in Teaching and Learning, our Student Success and Equity team, and the many, many faculty and staff across our campus who have led us to this moment. I am most excited, though, for our students. Our work is always undertaken with them in mind, and this certification is validation of the focused efforts we began in 2015 when we launched our first initiatives as an HSI. We focus on 3 areas: ensuring holistic student success, of our Latinx students, student and evidence-centered interventions, practices, and policies, and institutional investments that reflect our values as an HSI. Ongoing analysis of equity data is at the core of our work. We seek to hold ourselves accountable as we stand by our students and their communities. We seek to effect real change. We've moved from proof of concept equity innovations to institutional transformation. That our efforts are recognized by receiving the Seal of Excelencia is extremely gratifying. We actively seek equity partnerships to expand the academic pipeline. Our K-16 regional collaboration helps us raise expectations and prepare middle and high school students for higher education. UC Santa Cruz is one of just 21 Hispanic serving institutions in the U.S. that is also an R1 university, the designation for very high research activity. These 21 universities have recently formed the Alliance of Hispanic Serving Research Universities. The goals of the Alliance are by 2030 to increase by 20% the number of Hispanic professors at our institutions and to double the number of Hispanic doctoral students. We at UC Santa Cruz, like the other Hispanic serving research universities, are in the unique position to accelerate Hispanic student success and to ultimately help expand and diversify our country's human capital and leadership. Congratulations to all of the universities recognized today. This is not an easy work, but it is vital work, and UC Santa Cruz is proud to stand alongside you as we work together towards our shared goal of educational justice. Thank you.
The sixth and final institution that earned the 22 Seal of Excelencia is the University of Texas at Austin, represented by Eunice Curie, Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, because the President, who wishes she could be here, President Jennifer Cowley, is having her investiture today. So please, Eunice, join us. Thank you.
So, yes.
Instead of Arlington?
It's.
I'm gonna redo this. So I'm so sorry.
I was going to. Yeah, we are the other A, but that's. We are the A. But
what? Will you stand by me here while I correct myself? See, this is the beauty of doing it live and making sure that we do it right, because the work is so impressive. It deserves to be said accurately. So my apologies. So the next and the sixth institution earning the Seal of Excellence in 22 is the University of Texas at Arlington, represented by Eunice Curie. Thank you all. We have an extra moment.
Thank you so much. She saved the best for last. Thank you. It is my pleasure to be here today representing our President, Jennifer Cowley, and all of our Mavericks out there. So thank you. Gosh, you made my nerves come down so well. I love it. Oh, no, I love it. Thank you. It is truly an honor for us to be here at the University of Texas at Arlington to receive the Seal of Excelencia certification. It has been a long-standing goal for our university, and we are so proud and thrilled to be here. We know that our students' lives are transformed when they have the opportunity to attend UTA, because we have a long and distinguished history of providing an impactful education to a diverse population of students, and we are committed to creating an environment where Hispanic students thrive. That's why we offer a comprehensive array of programs, support, and services aimed at supporting Hispanic student success that spans the college continuum through campus-wide strategies and initiatives that broaden access and cultivate success. UT Arlington and the other universities here are recognized, occupy a rarefied space in higher education, and it is an honor to be considered a peer institution. At UTA, we have the research and academic credentials of an R1 institution. We're also one of just 4 universities in Texas designated as Texas Tier 1 University, a milestone we achieved in 2021. Yet, we are unusual among these national research powerhouses because we are known first and foremost as being highly inclusive. We are one of just 21 universities nationwide to be categorized both as a Carnegie R1 and a Hispanic serving institution. We take to heart the serving part of the designation with initiatives such as our student food pantry and our professional development closet, 2 examples that extend beyond the financial and are aimed directly at student success. The Hispanic grant also allows us to expand faculty development opportunities and student services. Thank you. Thank you for this honor. We are extremely proud to receive the seal on behalf of our students, our faculty, staff, and our community. Thank you.
UT Arlington, UT Arlington, UT Arlington. Earn the Seal of Excellence 22. Thank you if you have those live streaming. It's really important that you pay attention to that, so I certainly apologize. But it's a sign of the good work that's happening across the country that you hear from these 6 institutions, diverse in location, in size, sector, type and control, public, private. The seal is, however, not something that's in perpetuity. We set it up so that every 3 years, an institution that has earned the seal and chooses to can apply for recertification. That's because we know things change. And as our students evolve, the opportunity to continue serving them means that this is a journey. This is not just a recognition. You're one and done. You put it on the wall, you know, cumpli. I did my job, I'm done. Just as our students are on that perpetual journey of progress, so are institutions to make sure they're intentionally serving. I remember once I was thinking about this effort, and we saw this kind of, you know, the blue ribbon schools, which is a lovely approach. And I remember Sarita and I were doing a site visit somewhere, and we saw this school that looked relatively dilapidated, and the banner that was kind of like askew. It looked like they had earned that like 30 years ago. I remember thinking, no, this has to be active. This has to be engaging. We have to continue to show our progress. This is not something that's one and done. I say that because we also have the honor of recognizing 9 institutions that were the first cohort certified with the Seal of Excelencia in 2019, and who all chose to apply for recertification to tell us more about their journey as it continues to more intentionally serve their students. This cohort is super special. Every cohort is, every institution is, but these institutions had 1 month to put together a robust institutional assessment about what they were doing to intentionally serve students with all that criteria I mentioned before. And they showed immense intentionality, effort, and strategy. We're grateful that they saw the value of continuing the journey and telling their story of intentionally serving their students 3 years later. And honored that all of them not only have done that self-assessment again, but we've added more to it, not just looking at what they had been doing, but rather what they also intend to do. And not just looking at the current pathway, but also their goals and aspirations as they continue their journey to transform and make sure their students are served well. We wanted to understand that as folks that are here in DC, we're not on campuses, but trying to understand that commitment and that journey, looking at areas beyond just the pathway, although we asked them for 2 additional years to complement the 5, but looking at things like basic needs, faculty development, digital technology. And we gave them an option to tell us what was specific about what they were intending to do to show their intentionality in serving their students, and where were they investing their time and effort and energy of faculty, staff, and others to make that difference. That's the very first SEAL recertification. So I'd like to start in the same way we did before. Let's make sure, maybe I need to pull up my glasses so I don't make a mistake, like UT Arlington, is to make sure that we recognize the hard work, the dedication and commitment of these institutions to continue to show day in and day out, even when it's not sexy or cool, that serving these students is really what matters to them. The first institution that has earned the 2022 SEAL recertification is Arizona State University, represented by Provost Nancy Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am deeply honored to accept the Seal of Excelencia recertification on behalf of Arizona State University. In addition to serving as University Provost, I am a first-generation Latina college graduate and a university professor who has been studying the cultural strengths and resilience of Latino youths, families, and communities for 30 years. From each of these perspectives, I fully appreciate the resounding significance of today's event. It is both a celebration of what we have already achieved and an urgent call to rapidly accelerate our progress and raise the bar for Latinos in higher education. ASU was very honored to be among the first institutions to receive the seal in 2019, a recognition that aligned so well with our dual commitment to equity and excellence for all. At ASU, we measure ourselves not by whom we exclude, but by whom we include and how they succeed. And we assume fundamental responsibility for the economic, cultural, social, and overall health of the communities we serve. Currently serving over 30,000 Latino undergraduate and graduate students, we take seriously our commitment to college access and attainment, endeavoring to provide multiple pathways into and through all degree types to meet Latino students wherever they are, to provide our Latino students with opportunities to thrive in their time with us and in their futures for themselves, their families, and their communities. We are grateful to the visionary leadership of Excelencia in Education, particularly the fabulous Sarita Brown and Deborah Santiago, for defining what it means to serve with intentionality and for holding us all accountable. And yes, 1 month and a lot of data. And we thank you for creating a powerful network of institutions committed to make systemic change in partnership, which is the only way it will ultimately happen. Recertification reminds us the seal is not a singular achievement. It is a commitment to continued innovation that is so critical at this moment to keep pace with rapid and disruptive changes in the world and in higher education. The seal rightly places equity at the core of innovation for Latinos and ultimately for all groups that we must serve. And as an R1 institution that this year was named a Hispanic serving institution and the #1 university for innovation in the U.S. for 8 years in a row, we proudly embrace this grand challenge and the goals that we set forth with you as a recertified institution. In closing, I want to thank all the leaders, students, faculty, staff at ASU who contribute to our effort with enthusiasm now and into the future. Muchísimas gracias.
The next institution that we announce as having earned recertification in 2022 is Austin Community College, represented by Chancellor Richard Rhodes.
Thank you and good morning. First of all, I want to thank Excelencia on behalf of our Board of Trustees, our faculty, our staff, and our students, and especially all of the River Bats from Austin, Central Texas. You know, I have been known and been working with both Sarita and Deborah for the last 20 years in different capacities. And I feel like I have been caught in a 20-year tornado where I'm in the center of it, and swirling about me are these words, data and intentionality, and I can't escape it. But thank you for pushing us. You know, at Austin Community College, we have a mantra that says innovation plus collaboration is going to equal transformation. And so what I want to spend a little bit of time right now is on collaboration, that it is collaborative impact that makes a difference. From such things as working with our K-12 partners to ensure that students have clear pathways to higher education, whether it's through dual credit or early college high schools, and that is intentionality of making sure that they have clear pathways and that we reach the underserved populations intentionally. And that's what we're doing at ACC. Whether it's working with our university partners in co-enrollment programs like the University of Texas at Austin or Texas State University or Texas Tech or Texas A&M universities, working collaboratively to make sure that we continue those pathways for our students to achieve their dreams, or working with all of our business and industry partners to make sure that they're with us along the way in earn and learn opportunities for our students so that they can be successful and gain the advantage of having experience along with academic credentials. Or working with our nonprofits, such as Capital Idea in Austin, Texas, that wrap around support services, especially for our nursing students, and 60% of those nursing students they're working with are Latinx students. It was just 10 years ago that Austin Community College passed the threshold of 25% Latinx students to push us into an HSI. Today we serve 40% of our student population is Latinx. So I will conclude with this and just say that, you know, looking to the future, and that's what we've been asked to do, that really we're looking at career and technical education that has clear pathways for our students, stackable credentials to the future through bachelor's degrees and beyond. But everything that we do is with an equity lens. We have to ensure that that happens. I have just, we've made sure that our leadership team is reading a book together right now called Trust and Inspire by Stephen Covey, the Jr. And it is a day and age that for all of us in higher education, we must focus on trusting and inspiring as opposed to command and control. And I would say that the Seal of Excelencia, what it means to Austin Community College, you have been that entity that inspires us to keep up the good fight, and the Seal helps to make us realize that. So thank you for all of your support, your whirlwinds of pushing us forward.
I don't know, tornado, whirlwind, that's a... Thank you. The next institution that has well earned the 22 recertifications for the Seal of Excelencia is California State University, Channel Islands, represented by President Richard Yao.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of our faculty, staff, and students at California State University, Channel Islands, and the communities that we represent, I want to say how deeply honored we are to be awarded recertification of the Seal of Excelencia. And I will let our data tell the story of why it matters to us that we have again been honored as a seal-worthy and seal-earning institution. We've scaled up and institutionalized initiatives that are moving the needle, and with focused attention, we've seen gains in retention rates for our Latinx students, with our 2 most recent cohorts outpacing their non-underrepresented minority counterparts. Transfer student retention for the most recent cohorts are also at historic highs, and graduation rates are trending upwards and have improved since our first application in 2019. But all that being said, I want to be clear in naming the challenges that remain. We still see gaps in DFW rates, units completed, and GPA. So while retention is obviously so important, we still have work to do in addressing these areas related to timely degree completion. And we're also examining our postgraduate outcomes with more attention and rigor. And I hold myself and our campus community accountable for re-earning this expression of confidence in our campus through the Seal of Excelencia. And we're also creating a new kind of university advancement group called Semillas y Cosechas, or Seeds and Harvest. Through this group of student-nominated parents, guardians, teachers, and other community members who went above and beyond in supporting their success, we hope to continuously grow a powerful sense of belongingness for our students and their parents and families as well, and creating an equitable structure to directly connect with me and other senior leaders will help ensure that we prove ourselves worthy of this seal every day. And to those who led our initial certification efforts back in 2019, Dr. Amanda Quintero, Dr. Michelle Hazendox, Dr. Kristen Jordan, and our then president, Dr. Erica Beck, and to the hundreds of students, faculty, staff, and administrators who are responsible for our recertification today, thank you.
The next institution that we are proud to announce as having earned recertification in 2022 is El Paso Community College, represented by President William Serrata.
On behalf of El Paso Community College's Board of Trustees, our faculty and staff, and the students we serve, it is an honor to be here today. I salute Deborah Santiago and Sarita Brown and the entire team at Excelencia in Education for their unwavering commitment to closing education equity gaps. The Seal of Excelencia is an important example of Excelencia's transformational strategies to move the needle beyond simply enrolling Latinos students to ensuring they are recognized, supported, and graduate. I extend congratulations to all of the colleges who have earned their SEAL certification for the first time, along with the colleges being recertified today. The commitment to intentionally serve Latino students is beneficial to their success, as well as important to advancing our entire nation. EPCC has a laser focus on student success, and we are proud to have this commitment validated by being recertified with the Seal of Excelencia. As a community college president, as a Latino, and as the first in my family to graduate from college myself, I understand the importance of ensuring higher education is an experience where Latino and all students thrive and succeed. For El Paso Community College, earning the Seal of Excelencia recertification represents the measurable impact we are having on our students, our state, and our nation. Our work does not stop with earning this recertification. Today, I'm honored to accept this distinction, but also to renew El Paso Community College's goal of continuing to intentionally serve and accelerate Latino student success. This network of Seal of Excelencia certified institutions is a powerful voice to advance our collective work. We will continue to work together to transform the face of higher education while ensuring the civic and workforce needs of our communities and country are strengthened. I'd like to acknowledge Ms. Lucia Rodriguez, Dr. Carlos Amaya, Dr. Carrie Moe, and Dr. Steve Smith, who play an integral role at the institution and ensure that we are serving our students and serving them well. Thank you.
Earning the 22 Seal of Excelencia recertification is Florida International University, represented by Provost Elizabeth Bejar.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I'm honored to be here today and to accept our recertification on behalf of Interim President Jessel, our Board of Trustees, and our community of faculty, staff, and students. When I look across this room, I am in awe, not of the seal, but of the collective impact that is what the seal stands for, that all our institutions have had. And it is Excelencia in education, thanks to the entire team, but certainly to the leadership, the unwavering perseverance of Deborah and Sarita, who have championed this for decades. Our data and evidence-based practices speak volumes, more than any of us who were chosen here today to speak can say using poetic prose. This month, Florida International University turned 50 years young. And that day, in 1972, we made a pact with our community to deliver on the promise and the purpose of higher education. And that has never been more clear to us than it is today. Our university is well equipped to meet the changing landscape for which higher education must work, to find the answers as well as poised to ask the new questions. Fundamentally, that is how we address who we are today, a leading 21st century Hispanic public research university. We recognize and appreciate that it's part of our responsibility as an R1 institution and the largest producer of bachelor's degrees and master's degrees amongst Hispanic students in the nation. We have an obligation to our students, our faculty, our staff, our community, and our nation to get this right. Being recognized as a Seal of Excelencia institution reinforces that FIU remains committed to that intentionality. We sought recertification because FIU's role as a Hispanic serving institution is not subsiding, and neither is our commitment. Now more than ever, our overall university strategy continues to focus on accelerating Hispanic student success and utilizing our data and evidence to ensure that others beyond our campus borders recognize that through effective teaching and learning practices, through a sense of caring and understanding of our critical talent pipeline, that research universities can mitigate equity gaps in education, and that the power of Hispanics being included in the knowledge creation that is emblematic of the purpose of research universities will contribute to the future of this nation. FIU's journey resembles the journey of any one of our students: hope, opportunity, and excellence. I want to thank Excelencia for their dedication to common cause and for identifying and serving as champions for our roles as standard bearers for the future of higher education. Thank you.
The next institution that we announce as having earned recertification in 2022 is Grand Valley State University in Michigan, represented by President Filomena Montella.
Thank you, Deborah and Sarita. We are so honored to have been in the inaugural cohort and to be recertified today. For those of you that don't know Grand Valley State University, we are a public university in West Michigan with 22,000 globally minded learners who are being empowered to thrive in the futures they face and the communities that they will shape. We are the first and only PWI to receive the seal. We are committed to serving all of the citizens of our state without equity gaps and doing this intentional institutional work. We are grateful to Excelencia for their leadership, for their framework, for the community who share mutual accountability, and the community of passionate leaders together in this work. When we began our work with students with the Excelencia, our numbers were 13% students of color. Today, in 2022, we enrolled the most diverse class in our history with 21% and a 50% increase in Latino students with over 1,400, with strong completion rates and high levels of post-graduation success. We are going in the right direction, but our work is not done. We have more work to do to close the equity gaps, not through exclusion, but through inclusion, student empowerment, and intentional collaboration. I want to thank the faculty, the staff, the students, and the trustees of Grand Valley State University, and a special thank you to my predecessor, Tom Haas, who began this work, and leaders like Dr. Jesse Bernal, who has championed the work through 2 administrations, to Dr. Dante Truss, who reaches into our diverse communities every day, attentive to the lived experience and reflecting back to our institution the work that we need to do to better serve our diverse populations. I'm grateful to all our collaborators across the country, like my Rep 4 colleagues, who are a group of diverse institutions who come together to flip the model in higher education by empowering and equipping diverse first-generation students to be the architects of their own future and of ours. We are higher education leaders who worry every day about the demographic cliff. But let's think about that for a moment. As enrollment in this country has decreased by 2 million students in the last decade, Latino enrollment grew 42% in the same period. Colleagues, friends, co-conspirators, let's imagine if we close the equity gaps in access and completion. In four-year institutions alone, that would add nearly 1 million more Latino bachelor holders in 5 years and billions in Hispanic family incomes. This can be replicated across all diverse segments, improving life and opportunities for all of us. It's my privilege to share in this work with you and to be a part of this community. Thank you.
The next institution that has earned recertification in 22 for the Seal of Excelencia is South Texas College, represented by President Ricardo Solis.
Muchas gracias y muy buenos días. Just a while ago, of course, I was approached by Sarita, and she reminded me I'm one of the last ones to come up here. So she asked me, can you please keep it within 2 minutes? And I said, do I have a choice? So with that in mind, on behalf of the trustees of South Texas College, our administration, and of course our students, mil gracias for providing this Seal of Excelencia. This is a great honor. We're very excited to be able to obtain this recertification. As a border institution down in deep South Texas, right on the border with Mexico, we have over 30,000 students. It's been a remarkable growth experience. In our 27 years, we have grown to have graduated already close to 90,000 students in just that short period of time. With that, we know that our work still has to continue. Last night, I was so inspired to see the presentations done by the numerous colleges and different groups throughout the nation, from rural colleges to the universities, doing our mission. But especially those cases that were demonstrated, those initiatives, certainly showed that we are doing our jobs and we are fulfilling our mission in providing opportunity, vitality, and prosperity to our students. At South Texas College, we are developing some very bold strategies with global solutions. In fact, we are already providing training not only with organizations and companies along the border, we're also doing it in Mexico. Furthermore, we're doing what no other college is doing. We are also have already started doing virtual training with our dual credits with private institutions right across the border. A remarkable achievement. Clearly, we have a lot more to do, and we're very excited about this innovative approach, but we have to continue, because continuous innovation is our ultimate sustainable advantage. With that in mind, we know we're going to have to continue partnering, as mentioned earlier by our colleagues. We're very fortunate that we have our university partners there in the Valley, and we will continue working with this, striving to be able to achieve more Latino students, especially in our area, the Hispanic population, which comprises over 95% of our population, including at South Texas College. So with that, again, we are very grateful for this reaffirmation. Muchísimas gracias.
The next institution that we are pleased to announce as having earned recertification in 2022 is the University of Arizona, represented by Associate Vice Provost Marla Franco.
Good morning, buenos dias. My name is Marla Franco, and I serve as the inaugural Assistant Vice Provost for Hispanic Serving Institution Initiatives at the University of Arizona. And I am pleased and honored to accept this recognition of recertification on behalf of President Robert Robbins. He sends his deepest regrets and conveys his earnest appreciation to Excelencia in Education. Together, we accept this recognition on behalf of our faculty, staff, administrators, students, alumni, and the greater Tucson community. We also accept this recognition on behalf of the generations of students who have yet to attend our university. Our hope is that this signals to them and their families that our university is committed to intentionally supporting them as they seek to manifest their generational hopes and dreams. The University of Arizona predates Arizona's statehood by 27 years, so it's in our institutional DNA to cast a vision and develop intentional plans to get there. For us, the Seal of Excelencia is not a destination. Rather, it's a journey of continuous self-examination, equity-focused innovation, data-informed decision-making, and a reoccurring commitment to Latinx student success as the first four-year public Hispanic serving institution in the state of Arizona. In 2019, we used the Seal of Excelencia framework to take stock of existing assets that supported thriving conditions for our students, and we used it to illuminate gaps and opportunities for continuous improvement. As such, we were able to double down on faculty development, strengthen inclusive practices in our honors college, and launched the Arizona HSI Consortium to support a statewide approach to Latinx student success across 20 HSIs. These are just a few examples of how we've leveraged the SEALS process to shoulder responsibility for doing better by our students. On behalf of the University of Arizona, we thank you for this tremendous recognition, and we also accept this higher calling of responsibility. Gracias.
So you've been counting? 6 SEAL certified, so far 8 recertified institutions. Last but certainly not least, we have the University of Texas, El Paso, represented by President Heather Wilson, who earned the 22 recertification for Seal of Excelencia. President Wilson.
Gracias, Excelencia en Educación. And thanks to all of you and my colleagues, we look forward to working together to advance our common objectives. Le doy gracias a todos.
That felt like a mic drop moment, right? Thank you, President Wilson. Appreciate that very much. So I want to, throughout this conversation, people have thanked Sarita, myself, and Excelencia. We know we don't do it alone, just like each of these presidents has articulated their presidents, staff, and others that have made difference as well as their students. So I just want to take a point of personal privilege for Sarita and myself and acknowledge that we have a lot of our staff in the room who've made this happen as well. And I think, it's a little bit dark out there, but I want to make sure and mention Adriana Rodriguez, our Vice President of Programs, who has helped spearhead this, along with Noé Ortiz. Yes, there he is over there. Ira Perez is up here with us as well, has helped lead our technical assistance efforts and otherwise, as well as her team, Cindy Mendiola Perez, right, and Dorian Diaz. Some of you who've been engaged in our institutional work in Common Cause know them well. In addition, we have some of our research colleagues because, you know, we are data-informed and data nerds embraced. And we have Emily Lavandera, who's up there in pink, who's our Director of Research. And Russell, where do I see Russell? Russell's, oh, he's outside, okay. Who's our Strategic Data Fellow, because you can't have enough data people, right? It's good. And a team that also helped put this together, many of you, in helping to tell the story, and that is our communication team. And we have Michelle Santiago Rivera, our Director of Communications. We have Chino Chapa, who helps us in so many ways in community relations and public relations, and Guadalupe Acosta, who has also joined us in trying to make sure that this message doesn't stay in this room, but that others understand the powerful work that you're doing. So help me in thanking them and the rest of the team. They're doing critical work. I also want to note that this cadre of institutions, now 15, 6 that earned certification for the first time, 9 that have shown their commitment to be on a journey of intentionality, have been recertified, join 15 other institutions that were certified in 2020. Just imagine during the height of the pandemic, we weren't sure what was happening, and 2021. 30 institutions in this country that can articulate with data, practice, and leadership their commitment, their value proposition of ensuring their students are served and served well. That's a powerful group of institutions that are setting the tone, the standard, the expectation of what is possible, rather than those excuses of what's not possible when you have this kind of leadership and commitment that you heard from our colleagues. I'd like to make sure that we recognize, you know, it takes a lot for a president to take their time to be here for something like this. And it's great to have those that were recognized here. We also have our colleagues that were recognized in 2020 and 2021, still in la lucha, you know, making those efforts, committed to cause, that made the time to be here as well. And I think that's just an important testament to their commitment to their students, to the institutions, to their leadership and the work they're doing that matters so much and helps lead the way for all of us. So if I could impose on you all, if you would, because we have our live streaming happening and people can't see the back of your heads overall, I would ask if you would please stand. And I think we are in that third row here. And maybe we could do this so that they would stand and we'd have all of our presidents, so not just those that are here that have been certified, recertified, but those that have made the conscious decision to join this community and be present with us. If I could ask you to stand and turn towards our colleagues so that all those live streaming can see you and your leadership, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. These are the institutions. This is the leadership that we're looking for in our country. Thank you all. This is the important work that is so very important. I do want to put a couple of very quick things. I know that we're getting into our time with what needs to happen. I do want to point out these 30 institutions. These 30 institutions, I had to say it again, just like the UT Arlington, 30 institutions, they enroll 13% of all Hispanic students in this country in 30 institutions and graduate 14% of all Latinos that earned a degree in the last year. 30 institutions are representing and leading this country with this population. Imagine what they are doing, what we can learn from their efforts and strategies, what we can invest in their strategies and efforts that can lead the nation in showing what's possible for all of us. I hope that's the kind of message, the inspiration. I feel that the inspiration, their commitment is genuine. I hope it instills in you so much is possible, it's probable when we hold ourselves accountable to making sure our students are served very well. Thank you all for what you do, for taking the time, for telling a little bit of your story. I hope that everyone pays attention to this network and to this group of institutions. They are the change that we are looking for. They are the value proposition of why higher education matters, and our community can lead that way. Thank you all.
This effort began in 2018. It began with a framework That framework promised what we are experiencing today in one part, because it created a method, a target, a means to move towards this responsibility that institutions of higher education have embraced, to say, on my watch, the students that are admitted will succeed, and we will do our part. The ideas that Excelencia has shared with all of you would have remained good ideas if we had not received support. That support is fundamental to the capacity and reality of what we're experiencing right now. Those who supported us at the very early stages are the ones that we'll always remember. And they include the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Gilbert and Jackie Cisneros Foundation, ECMC Foundation, Kresge Foundation, and more recently, the Trellis Foundation. This community of common cause wants everyone who is contributing to the momentum and forward motion to be seen, because it is taking all of us and the many more who believe in the future of this country and the means for our youth and the marriage of their aspirations and the quality and strength of our institutions to propel them forward. When constructing a challenging event as this, which is for all of us bursting with ideas and bragging rights and things we want to say, to be as disciplined as this fine set of people were, and they stayed in their time limit, is one thing. It is also such a singular moment that to complete this concept of what we as a nonprofit do, what you as leaders in higher education do, and what the wonderful support of people in the world of philanthropy have done and will do. You just heard the list. There are foundations we could have turned to. This year, it was particularly easy to not only find not just the foundation, but the person. And the person is a colleague and friend of long standing. Alan Golston, president of U.S. programs for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is a colleague. He is someone who knew us even before the seal. He is someone who has been with us as we've invented on a public stage. He is someone who cares about equity, about student success for all, and he is invested in the strength of this country and the capacity of higher education to ensure our bright future. Please join me in welcoming Alan Golston.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, well, that's a lot to live up to. So thank you for the kind introduction, and just a huge thank you for including me in the honors and the celebrations today. It is such an honor to be here to help celebrate and honor all the institutions who are receiving the Seal of Excelencia for your tremendous leadership in ensuring Latino success. I have to also just say how proud I am of Sarita and Deborah for their vision and their passion for this work. They have been great, great colleagues and counselors to me and to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's just been an incredible partnership. And to have two organizations have a shared passion to measurably improving Latino student success has both formed, strengthened, and expanded the partnership between the two organizations. And just to be a small part of that is a tremendous honor and a pleasure. It's also fun to run into you in New York randomly, which happened earlier this year. So Latino success is a critical, measurable success factor of the work that we do at the Gates Foundation in our post-secondary strategy, and that's actually true for all of the work that we do. And Excellencia in Education has been a critical partner for us throughout all of that time. And the work that this institution does and the work that the institutions that have been featured and honored here today shows an incredible commitment to equity in education. And we're deeply, deeply proud to be part of that commitment. Equitable outcomes is so fundamental to the work that the foundation does in the United States. Our vision believes, and we will do everything that we can to secure this, is a world where all people who are navigating the education systems and the job market systems not only get the knowledge and the skills, but also the agency to thrive in their communities, to truly thrive and participate. And for that to happen, where race, socioeconomic status, ethnicity, and gender are not predictors of educational attainment or socioeconomic mobility and security. We know, though, that those factors are still predictors of the outcomes, and we believe that that is unacceptable, and we get up every single day determined to do our part to change that. And in order to do that, we need organizations like Excellencia in Education and the institutions who have been honored here today to really continue to work collaboratively to change the narrative, to change the system so that we wake up one day and equitable outcomes are just part of what we expect and see every single day. The foundation is investing in other organizations through partnerships and investments to help them do similar work that you heard here today, what we call institutional transformation. We need to see that across the country, and we're committed to do our part to support organizations like Excellencia and others to make that a reality. And for us, transformation is where innovation, where data and information, data, as you heard, is a key theme, and policy come together to really deliver systems change for Latino students, for Black students, for students from low-income backgrounds. And we're excited to be truly be a part of that. But transformation requires another key ingredient that has been exhibited by all of the leaders that you've heard from today, and that is leadership. Leadership is critical to organizational and institutional transformation because you have to challenge the status quo. It's like swimming upstream. You have to challenge status quo systems, culture, and you have to do that in a way that is very student-focused and with a clear eye to deliver equitable access to post-secondary education that delivers value, valuable degrees so that all students can participate. So this designation of the Seal of Excelencia is a critical factor where these leaders truly earned it. And if you know Sarita and Deborah, you know that this seal is not a rubber stamp. You heard Deborah talk about the rigor. This is just an honor to be revered. It is something to be very proud of, and frankly, we believe that every single institution in the United States should aspire to achieve these standards of excellence, full stop, period. So, a huge congratulations to the leadership and the leaders in the institutions who've really earned this designation, the recertification, and a huge congratulations and thank you to Deborah and Sarita and all of the colleagues who work and support Excellencia for Education. They are truly a driving force in education and higher education in particular, and they have pushed all of us to do our part to ensure Latino success, and they are helping all of us pave the way to ensure success for all students in this country. Thank you and congratulations.
We come to this moment, which closes this year's announcement event, focused on moving forward. We want to thank Excellencia's community of common cause for your commitment, your deep belief that achieving Latino student success, serving with intentionality Latino students, is a doable deed. We know from all of your efforts that the capacities of your institutions are pliant and can be expanded. How you expand them, what you pay attention to, how you choose to lead with action, not just words. That is what this moment is about. Deborah talked about what we have experienced with you. The SEAL has mobilized institutions of higher education to discover within your campus community, within your practices, what makes a difference. At the same time, Excelencia in Education is so animated to be able to say to all of higher education, see, it can be done. This is what courage looks like. This is what you do when your values and your commitment to be engines for forward motion, this is what it looks like. And for that, Deborah and I are immensely grateful that the ideas of years ago have now blossomed with the support and energy of our team into available methods for all. I'm an only child, so it's easy for me to know my family members. Deborah comes from a bigger family, but even she keeps up with all of her family members. The Excelencia family has gotten so big that we have to double check to make sure we've called out everyone. So going from Alan's comments, I would like to say that someone who we missed the last shout out is Matt Cusco. So if he's in the room, he's going to wave. And if he's there, okay? We want you to know, all of you, because all of the institutions in this room are affiliated with our Presidents for Latino Student Success Network, Jennifer Gomez-Chavez, who is, I can't see anything up here. So there, okay, she's waving. And then a point of personal privilege, because the capacity for us to do what we're doing at the level that we're doing is absolutely enabled and fueled by my special assistant, Thomas Rivera. Now the whole family has been named.
No, Maddie.
And pues así, and Maddie. So the point of it is, we have always been real about inventing on a public stage. And what you have seen in the course of the formality and drama of the Seal of Excelencia announcement, and this kind of everybody must be seen and everybody must be named, that's what this has been about for 18 years. And that's what it will be about as we go forward. For all of the institutions that are here in this room and thinking, what is this about, and is it for me, and how do I do it? Please know that there is ample written information and there is readiness by our team to speak with you one-on-one, to talk with your teams, to engage with you about the methods. Beyond that, the bigger question and the bigger idea for all of us to consider, having invested time and energy to be in each other's company, both here at the Mayflower Hotel in Washington, D.C., and for all that have watched this live and who will watch it later. It's what we take responsibility for, and most importantly, it's acting on our deep belief that leadership of an inspiring kind is found in higher education. I believe in this sector. I chose this sector when I was young. This sector of American society, for all that might be better in any given moment, this sector is made up of professionals who believe in the intentionality of scholarship, of effort, and is ready to respond to innovation and change. As we move forward from this moment, know that Excelencia in Education is bullish on higher education. Know that when people say higher education needs to, sure, there are lots of things higher education needs to do. But most important, higher education, led by the likes of all of you, needs to stay strong, needs to stay connected, and most, needs to feel pride. Because what you do and what we do will sustain not just the moment, it will sustain our community, it will propel us into the future. The journey to the Seal of Excelencia is a theme that has been said multiple times now, and it is the theme that Deborah is crafting for us as we go forward. You, I've been saying this in Zoom calls, you are the Sherpas for those who will follow behind you. You are the people who will help those who say, yes, it's the bragging rights of any one moment and any one grant and any one level. But the sector, that will keep our country strong, and your transparent, sustaining commitment to practice equity, focused on Latino students, our common cause, that will serve us all well. Thank you so much for all that you do. Gracias.